Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. Your spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land we embrace.
You are welcome to the Bottomline Liberia.
Yes, indeed, you are welcome to the Bottomline Liberia discussions. And tonight, we're going to be here bringing you the best we can. My colleague Paul, the Lord, Chiriple, and I, and of course, we've been on this team for a couple of years now. I don't know how long we've been on. I think it's since 5 years now, moving to 6 years. So we've been in this business for a while now on the Bottomline Liberia discussions, and the business is what we know best, and we bring you that information that you missed or the one that you know already, but I will just polish it up and then make it more interesting to you. So my name is Linford Goer on the program tonight, along with Paul, the Lord Chiriple from the United Kingdom, London to be specific. And I'm here in Norway. Tonight is very interesting. We got a lot of information that we'll be passing on to you. But to just give you some information about our colleagues, Francis Mensah may join us, or we have not gotten any word from him. But two of our colleagues are on. They're going to be on a few weeks break due to some official issues. So they're going to be a few weeks break. But they'll intermittently join. They'll pop in, and then we can have these discussions. So, Paul, let me say good evening to you. This is the Bottomline Liberia discussions. And today is the 20th of February, 2022. And 2021, 26. And it's moving slowly for me. I mean, today just the 20th, man. What time will reach March, April, May, June, July, then wait to 2027, then 2029. Welcome, Paul.
Well, thank you, Linford, and good evening. It's good to be back on the discussion. First, I want to say good evening to our audience. The Lord Chiriple, the friend of King Charles, is happy to be back on the program. I want to say, I'm happy to be among the living. There's nowhere else on this planet called paradise. I know Earth is paradise, so I'm happy to be in paradise. But having said that, it's good to be about the bottom-line discussion. I'll be looking forward to the discussion tonight. I think there's a lot of interesting story coming up. We might be looking at the main topic tonight will be what? The paramilitary group that were founded by the Fulani community in Liberia. We want to look at that in depth. Why is Liberia a failed state? Is that why we are heading that way? We'll also be looking at the demolition that took place today in 72nd area. And then, Linford, there's something in the front page Africa I know you take us through regarding the hungry situation and women bearing the impact in Liberia. So we'll be looking at that. So yes, I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion. And then on the international scene, with Donald Trump do the most of bombing Iran. This is the question that everyone is asking because the military build-up over there is getting interesting. They took all their massive weapon over there. Will they happen? And then the question to our audience is, Iran is not a nuclear country. But why is it Iran becomes so important that America sending all their military might? That's quite interesting. Not nuclear state, and America is negotiating with them. What is the reason behind it? We'll be looking at that. So, Linford, those are the talking points for tonight.
And great, Paul. Great. So for those of you joining all the first time on the program tonight, we'd like to say welcome to you. And if you've been here before, of course, we say welcome. Nicholas Doe, man, my brother from Holland. And also Ambassador Jacob Jenkins Dixon Jr., welcome. And for those of you whose name I cannot see on my dashboard, please, you can leave a comment. And this program is very inclusive. For those of you who are watching, you are also a part of the program because your comments help us to get some clues. But there's something that you may know that we do not know. And so if we are on a discussion and you just want to put on your comment, you can write it in the comment box. And then if we have time, we'll read some of the comments. But let me say welcome to you. We're going to take a quick break. Now, we take this musical break as usual to allow the viewers that are joining us to take, for instance, maybe you're here checking your Facebook and then you saw this thing. So you say, oh, wait, it's interesting. So let me get settled. So we play the interlude of music so that you settle and grab your coffee, or maybe to your weekend, right? You grab your little anything, whatever your hand can lay on, and be a part of the show while we share the show. And you can also share it on your own page to your friends, to your various groups. So we go to our short musical break. Okay.
My people, where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Wave your hands. Come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go for us. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we both tell you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. Betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not corrupt. No one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then stay, they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. Betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we both tell you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land we embrace.
You are welcome to the Bottomline Liberia.
You are watching the review of Liberian newspapers' headlines that made news during the week on the Bottomline Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
And so welcome back again. This is the Bottomline Liberia discussions. My name is Linford Goa in Norway, and Paul the Lord Churpley is in the United Kingdom, London to be specific. He's a friend of the King Charles. Is he King Charles the First?
It's King Charles, man. King Charles.
I like my man. My man, cool.
No, the guy has been one of the coolest. Before he became king, he was the coolest prince.
Man, move. Them back your friend. I remember when I was in England in the 2008 to 2012. Your man used to go to the club and throw blow PT, and they used to throw PT. But the guy was, he was not king at that time. He was prince. So, but now that he's king, so yeah, we say hi.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you waited for up to age 70 before mom gave chance, that was painful to wait because the woman refused to give it to her son.
I know, man. The guys who stand out in the morning, look in the mirror, you see he get gray hair. You see, what the woman waiting for, man?
The Oma didn't want to give the thing to him, and you see, around Europe, they were giving it to the other kings and queens were giving it to their son. The Oma refused to give it to the guy. The man became 70 before the Oma gave it. So
I know.
He took the car as a very old age. So that was very painful, but it is what it is because the guy will see things and he will say it the way he see it, and that's the good thing about him. He won't shy away from anything.
I know. Yeah. That's what we call man. When you know, you met. But guys, let's say welcome to the Bottomline Liberia discussions. Emmanuel Bro, just joining us. We want to say welcome and please help us to share the show to your friends. Sylvester, you are also welcome. Paul, we're here tonight with tons of development. We want us to start from across the border and then come back home, or you want us to start from home? We go across the border?
Whichever way, it doesn't matter because what happened is I think there's a lot of interesting conversation around. So even if we start from international before going local, it will be okay. But then, So I think it'll be quite interesting. But before we go international, this is the main topic tonight regarding the Fulani. The paramilitary group that were formed there, and there's so many things about it. We're not going to look at the legitimacy of this group, but we're going to dive in. Why is it? And the question here is Liberia or failed state, because usually when this sort of group comes out there, it means that some is telling us something that the security apparatus in our country, they're not doing something right. That our people are forming groups. Will be diving into it. So we want our audience to also chime in. Whether they register legally or illegally, but what a paramilitary group? Where are we heading? Because this is the topic for tonight. We want everybody to chime in. What the hell is going on in Liberia? And to get into this, Linford, if you remember the former president, George Weah, because of security issue, he said to the nation, you try and get CCTV to protect yourself. Is that why now the Fula people are coming out to form their own group because they have a lot of businesses in Liberia? Or is there something else, or they've been supported by the group in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, or in Nigeria called the Boko Haram? There are a lot of questions behind this group. We need to find out why Liberia, or because the society who have a failed state in Liberia that cannot protect its own citizens or the business people trying to create something. So we want to look at why this group coming out. And before we move on, remember during the George Weah time, we had a group called the Sabu Union under Joseph, this guy, Kochi. Then there was another group came, what they call it, the Lofa Defense Force. So how the security system in Liberia, have they failed the people? This is the question.
Well, I think, like you said, we'll not look at the legitimacy of the group, but again, it's very difficult to discuss such a topic without trying to even see whether it's legal to have such a group. So, but we'll try to, we may talk about it, but we have no legal ramifications as to whether it or to confirm it. But passively, we may discuss whether it's legal, or whether it's supposed to happen from our own point of view, because we are not legal practitioners here. But to answer, or to because I know you're not asking me this question for me to give you a candid answer. I'll give you a candid opinion, but not a candid answer. Yeah, Liberia may not be a failed state in the sense of a real failed state, because a failed state is a state where almost everything has collapsed, starting from security to the economy to the government system. But we got a structure in place called government. We got a president with all the ministers appointed, directors, and head of autonomous agencies in their positions working. We got the legislature functioning. We got the judiciary. So the government has a structure. The structure is on the ground. It's working. Whether it's working perfectly or not is not my place to say. I can give my own opinion on that. Then when it comes to security, because I think this is the most important thing. Every country will want to have stability, security in all aspects, from social security to political security. Okay, and you name it. Now, I will give you a quick story about myself. Since I came to, when I was in Liberia, I want to go to America those days, until when I traveled to Norway way back 89, 90. Okay. I went to America more than 8 times in 4 years. More than 8 times. 4 years time I'll go. I went there 8 times. I'll go 2 times every year. And every time I go, I'm the glamour of America, because all my family, anybody from my family that is abroad is in America. So when I go in the glamour, Paul, being at the temptation, coming from bush country in Norway, rich, but bush is not developed. Then you come to country like America, you come to a huge city like Houston, and my sister will say, stay here. I want to really stay. I don't want to come back. The 8 times I was going road back to back. I want to stay, but then I was looking at something, security, because this is my first time in the city. Everywhere I look, you get ambulance. The ambulance going, the police truck going, the police all over the place. Sorry, and that's something that we do here in Norway. It's very unusual to hear the police or the ambulance or anything. No, especially if where I live, outside of the big city. So I was afraid. And here the security is good. You can leave anything outside, you will find it tomorrow morning. You will I just recently, but a long time ago, people used to park their car to the working place and leave the keys out, because in case of fire, somebody can drive it all away for you. Nobody will think about it. So the security is there in Norway, country in Norway. The security is there. Bad thing can happen. It can happen in port. Yeah, it's not compared to some countries like America, so to speak. Okay. And then, so that's the thing. Everybody's looking for peace and stability. You want to be secure when you're walking, you're not looking over your shoulder. Okay. I can drive in it. Most time when I travel, I'm coming by my flight. When I was coming from Liberia, my flight was to let in Norway. I got in Norway 10 minutes after 12 o'clock in the night. Then I have 3 hours to drive from the airport to my house. Okay. So I had been sitting in the car. It's not major highway. My road coming to my place. It's not major highway. Passing all in the bush. But the only thing we can be scared of when driving the net are the mule, the baby animal, because you will hit your car and tell me, but let's think about somebody stopping you to rob you. No. Yeah, so security is very important. And you ask a question. The topic there, it says when the state does not provide security for you, what do you do? Do you form your own security? And this is clear. The former president George Weah said it. Even when I was in the wartime, I was in the middle of government. I was not working for government. I worked as a journalist. Okay, so we were in Greater Liberia, even as dangerous as Greater Liberia was. We still have some kind of security there. Okay, that was war zone, active war zone, but we have security still. Everywhere where they fought war, people who were on the other side, where you limo or LPC or whoever were there, they also had security. So even in a situation of war, you need security. You see it? So President Weah made a statement. He said everybody should buy that CCTV
To
to
protect
peacekeeping
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. Should I speak for him? Should I play a devil's advocate? I think he was speaking out of frustration that all these things were happening and his government was being blamed. So he said, "Okay, send your thing. That means you buy your CCTV." Okay, maybe he said he made a statement out of frustration. I don't know, or he meant to just throw it in the lap of the Liberian people. I also don't know, but these are some of the reasons that people will want their own personal security. And trust me, when I went Liberia in November to bury my mom, my little brother had arranged a military guy who was my security. But I didn't, when I got to the airport, from the airport, the guy, two of them were waiting for me. We got in the car. We started moving that night. I didn't see the danger of having my own security. But again, it was good that I have somebody who, if somebody want to fight me or do something, the person can help me to fight. So you see, every human being, all human beings by nature, they need security. You see, even in a relationship, the husband and the wife, if there is not this kind of social security where the woman feel that she's not getting the support as wife, or the husband feel that not, security is very paramount. So it's very difficult to discuss these issues. But Paul, like I said, we cannot give any resolute answer to this question as to the legitimacy of this group. But is it necessary to have security? Yes, it is necessary. But when and why should we have our own private security when we have a functional government?
So the thing is, the private security is not a thing, because even in the UK here, a lot of people have their own private security firm, and what those security firms are for, people hire those security to be or how they call it, a bouncer out of, how they call it, nightclub or some events. Now, if you find out the fuller people in Liberia, for some reason over the years, they just everywhere in Liberia, every little town or village you go, you see fuller people and they get businesses. But are those businesses protected? Is that a reason why they're forming their own group? So what's the logic behind the fuller Fulani Defense Force? They call themselves Fulani Group. What the purpose behind them? Now, if you say, for example, go to a football game in the UK, for example, you have the police. The police will be there. But then in the stadium itself, they have stewards. And the purpose of those people, just in case anything break out, those are the first people that are the first contact before the police. So they dare to make sure everything is in place. In Liberia, because the story came out about they forming this group based on Ramadan, and we got to know it's not based on Ramadan. So if it's based on Ramadan, where are the police? Or they have a lot of security firms in Liberia. Why don't you hire some of those people for that event? Or why is it that you can't pay, because there's a lot of people unemployed in Liberia, getting young people, put them together, train them as stewards, to just be there to guard, to see how things go ahead. But to form a defense group that look like a paramilitary group, what the purpose behind this? Is it because they link with another group somewhere in Mali, Burkina Faso, or Niger, or Nigeria? Because that's where we know that the Fula people have been dominating when it comes to this group called Boko Haram. So what the purpose of this group in Liberia? Are they there to defend the Fulani business community? So these are many questions that we need to answer, because if you go into the gold mine and the diamond mines, you find these Fulani people everywhere doing businesses. Are they there for what? And another thing is, for a few years back, we never had those long buildings in Monrovia. For when the Fulani people started coming in a bundle, they will come with, they become Shushan, but then after 2 years, you see they put a story building, and this thing being alleged that they one of the people that bring drugs into the country. It has been alleged. So are they doing it to defend what they're doing? These are all questions to ask. So why is it the national security apparatus of Liberia cannot increase the workforce? From my data that I got, the army, the police, the immigration, all of them, they don't even reach 12,000. So is that a reason behind this? So this is the question. Why are the Fuda people forming their own group? Because they have the economic power in Liberia. Is that because they have the economic power or they want to protect their economic power in Liberia? So if the Fuda people have this, well, the Lebanese and Indian people will come up with their own group to protect them. So this is a serious question. So is that the security situation in Liberia? Is that what George we are right to say people should buy CCTV to protect themselves? So these are questions that need to be answered. Linford?
Yeah. Well, Paul, you made a point. Oh, listen. The question is, like I said, it's difficult to discuss this thing and its legitimacy. We have police in Liberia. We have, because the police is the first contact between the citizens and the government. Then we got the intelligence force, which we should call CRD. Then we get the NSA. Those are people that you don't recognize easily. They are just ordinary people like you, but they are security apparatus. Then you got the military. The military is the last resort. If all these groups cannot function well, or they do not meet the needs of the people, then the military will step in. And those are very, very exceptional factors. But for the Fula people to say that they are forming their own defense force, what is the risk? What is the risk against Fula people? What do they see? What are they doing? Or have they ever been attacked? Because since I know, Chalo then, every day in my whole life, Mandingo men, Indian people, Lebanese people, and Fula people, I not see that pie man. All the people I know about them that are brothers.
In your business people.
Yeah. They always kind of say, oh, that my brother did. You remember when we were living on the Papa, just before when you walk on the mirror, before you pressure to go to Richard Nation, they used to have that big shop there, that my Oma had a shop. Then right near had a tailor shop. No tailor boy. Almost every 1 year or two or three of them will come. They're from Guinea. They didn't know how to say hello in English. Then they will say, oh, that my brother do. That brother, you'll be sitting up there, the machine sewing. In fact, that didn't sew here. He the one when they bring your clothes, he the one can press it. When they finish sewing it, then you start cutting clothes for him. You go load the buy one machine for him. That brother, after 1 year, he will bring no brother to every time. That was I not so Maningo Bear or Flamen father or your uncle. All of them are brother. My brother did. You see, so this will be in Liberia for years. And I have not, apart from some, I remember during the wartime, when the war was finished, people in Monroe, I remember there was one money exchange or one flag guy that was killed by some armed robber early morning, ready money exchange place. Those are isolated instances. But if you go central Monrovia, the Fula people everywhere. Everywhere. So I have not seen any attack against Fula people that is risky to say people are hunting them down because they're making business or people are doing it. Of course, even if you're making business, and you see 1 or 2 criminal country play, it's not a state-sponsored team. Nobody send them they want to steal, okay? Because some people don't want to work hard. So for them to make it as if to say there is this big risk against them that they are facing, that they got to form in their defense for in any case. The Fula people are not citizens of Liberia. Yeah, you can say they're born by birthright, you become citizen. But you think if all the people in Liberia turn against Fula people, you can't survive because the people outnumber you. Simple. It's the outnumber you. So you can't make it to appear. I'm saying this from my heart, right? You Fula people directly to you, not to other people. And we're not being tribalistic here. But Fula people, you are minority. To be frank, even in Monrovia, where you are minority still. Okay, so the people of Monrovia, just say all the Fula people here today are not going anywhere. They know where you are, they know where you live, they know where they can find you. It's very simple. They can arrest all of you one day and do what they want to do, but nobody's doing that to you. So why do you feel so afraid, so scary that you got to say you form the defense force you forming? Can they outnumber even the police we get, or in fact, the police, but it's the ordinary citizen? Can your defense force outnumber them? No, you cannot. You cannot outnumber them. So in other words, you are a minute portion of the society. So you can't create that scenario that you are at risk and you got to create your own. There must be an underlying factor here. And what they're doing, those are the things that can make people have to start shining on you. Because all you're living in a community, nobody harassing you, nobody's doing anything bad to you. Then one morning, you're going to say, well, you feel suspicious, you start to create scenario that you got to protect yourself. So then people start watching you with ego eye. There is something wrong, you see? And so that question is very legitimate when you ask whether it's right for them to or are they connected? Is there something that they see that we don't see? I mean, they got to come out clear.
Yeah, but therefore, if you go into that's a Mozzarella, for example. Every corner in Mozzarella, there is a Jalo shop. People go and have breakfast and go and have tea in the evening. And that Jalo shop, they call it the Atai shop. Every corner. So if you feel threatened, with the group that you forming will be every community to protect the Jalo. So it does not make sense. So what is the motive behind it? Is it because there might be because what happened, West Africa is vulnerable at the moment. You get Mali just above us. You get Niger on the other side. There have been a group, they access the Boko Haram group that have been fighting. They're looking for places to hide.
Yeah.
Will Liberia be that place? These are questions we need to ask.
And there's a comment here by Alingo. He say he thinks there is or there are intentions for organizing that group. And it's a simple talking because you can't just wake up one morning, you say we're going to protect ourselves. Against what? Against who? And when you know you are very minute, you're not showing a big group to say, okay, at least the Mandingo group, the Mandingo, they're everywhere. Okay, even the flag, you're everywhere. But even there, the Mandingo can pull. I mean, I understand. I got Mandingo friends, I know, right? And I have personal flag friends I went to school with. Okay, so but the thing is, listen, you can't create that kind of condition because you make people to become suspicious of you. Okay, it's just like we are living in foreign land. Okay, we live in Norway as Liberian. We get on one day we even inform the Liberian the Norwegian government. Then we say we're forming our own. The people become suspicious. You have been living here all the time. You're here, nobody pardon. Why you want security? That's the most important question. I think that's what they should be answering. Forget about the formation of the group, how big it is, whatever. But why you want it? Why? What is the risk? And this group, they are frame it to say because of Ramadan. No. Okay, but the group they say been existing since 2021. Because there's even a little boy picture I see on trending on internet. He say he was a member of it, one Muta something. He say he was a member of it, or he doesn't like it add yet. But the question is, if they have been existing since 2021, what is that status? Are they registered? And that's what I said from the start. We don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of the whole thing.
They are not registered because according to the how they call it, the justice minister, there's nothing on their registration document to say department to say this group is registered enough.
Okay, so that's illegitimate.
Exactly. So that makes it more suspicious. So if you're not registered to be what, then even if you wanted to have your own security firm, that is easy because a lot of Liberians get their own security firm, but you form a paramilitary group. What the intention behind this? Is it the new center of to recruit Boko Haram people? Is Liberia not a sanctuary country to recruit these people? So there's so many things behind it. What
behind? I don't want to cut. I'm not cutting you over. I just want to add to what you said so I can forget. Now, why are they forming this group? And even like you said, there are several people that have that private firm, and that's solely for business.
Yeah.
Okay. You get 100 men, somebody having wedding, they can and say, okay, we want 5 men out of the 100. The other people can say, we want 10 men out of the, So you see, because it makes sense, that. But if you form a group and give it that nomenclature, you say Fula Defense Force or Fula Defense something. So it's only for the Fula people. Okay? So tell me, they are not only Muslims. We got Liberian, we got predominantly that countries in
Liberia. You have the Lebanese, you have the Nigerians there, you have the Mandingo, you have the Va, the Mende, they are Gola, they are Muslims. So why? Yeah. So what the purpose behind this group? So that means the Va Muslim group, Jumbo say, oh, we're forming a Va defense force because to protect our people. Are they not sharing the same mosque? They all go to the mosque together. There's not that they separate or we go by the ethnic group. No, they all meet up. So why come up with a group say to defend? So the motive behind this group, that's why we need to find out. They're not legitimate, but why this group? Are they getting money from across the border from Boko Haram? Or who the sponsor of the group? Will Liberia be in trouble? Because when this sort of group start, that means they can cause mayhem in the country. So what the motive behind the Fuller Defense Force? That is the question. It's scary.
And I think it's very important that the government take serious note of this. And in the first place, I mean, I would just recommend in the first place, the people, the leadership of that group, because I know the group will not just organize, the leadership of that group, they should all be arrested. To invite them, arrest them. Because you can't have paramilitary force parallel to your security, your state security. Is that possible? So arrest those people, arraign them in a court, let them give you sources, information, how they get the money in the pocket. Yes, sir. Because you can't have that kind of group, well-dressed in paramilitary uniform and don't have support. They will know the Fuller people get business. So who are money Fuller people that are sponsoring them, and what is the motive? Why are they forming this group? And it's a serious thing. And Liberian government, if you take this thing lightly, I remember after the 1980 coup, though they were ruling and all these things happened, then they turned against each other. Some people ran away, like Kuwampa, and someone like Prince Tony Water Johnson, all these people ran away. And we always will hear some small, Liberia, when you hear that small, they say something will happen. They say, the people will come back. They say one man called Prince Tony Water will come back. And they say Kuwampa will come back. Small thing, it was happening. And what happened? Finally, Taylor Denkin, Kuwampa Denkin, all the other people that came, you see, all the military people that were from Nima County that ran away, the low-ranking one, they all came back. And when they came, we used to call them CEO. So, they kind of thing starting, we should not take it for fun. Let the government be very serious. And of course, Liberia being what it is, I don't want to degrade the government, but I want to think that the system is very porous. The government system is very porous. We got a long border geography. We got a long border geography. If you look at it, from Sierra Leone border with Liberia, all the way coming to Guinea border with Liberia, then Ivory Coast border with Liberia, they are all porous. Anybody can cross there. Anybody can cross anytime. So they got to be very careful. They got to investigate. If I were the government, if I were in the government, I think the investigation will start now, and then we should proceed. And do not only do internal investigation, go beyond them. Try to send intelligence out to places where Boko Haram or some of the Muslim groups are operating. Now, they make it difficult for people to even discuss the issue. Because when you discuss the issue, you will begin to bring in religion. Then you will say, oh, maybe that Muslim people want to do. Because, of course, if you form your group and you say you want to protect Ramadan, so then you are directly linking it to what? To the Muslim group. You see? So, and then the Mandingo people too will come and say, oh, why are you attacking our religion and all these things? But you don't see your own people from your religion, when they linking the kind of organization to your religion. So you're supposed to step in, you the Mandingo people, or not only Mandingo, but all Muslims.
All the Muslims. Linford, let me bring up something quickly. Mm-hmm. The Muslim people in Liberia long been calling for Muslim holiday. And this sort of group can force the government, because if we're not getting holiday, we can cause mayhem. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking from a different angle.
Yeah.
You see, why I say we are so many now, we don't have Muslim holiday, but all around us in West Africa, there's Muslim holiday. So this forming of this group is scary. Whether they won't force our government into something of submission that will force them to have a Muslim holiday, is that the intent? Or this group here, are they setting another base in Liberia for Boko Haram? What the purpose of this group? Because Liberia is a small country, even you're not Muslim at this Ramadan time, come the end of Ramadan, you see even non-Muslim join the group to celebrate with them. That is that how peaceful we are. So what the intent of this group, and they're trying to link it with the Muslim and Ramadan holiday. What's the intent? So that means, or God and me who don't believe in Muslim or believe in Christian, I form our own sort of group called something, and that will because we are in minority, we have to have our own defense for protection. Where are we heading? So the government need to actually arrest these people. They need to find out the source of their funding, where it coming from, where they intend, because this, if they let it slide, another group will come out. Maybe it was just something that brought it out, but then what happened when people in Grand Jada in a jungle forming some group that nobody knows about? So this is something that the government need to crack down, jail those, the owner, the founder of this group, to deter somebody else from doing this. I think that's what they need to do. That's how I see it. What say you, Linford?
Yes, it's the same thing I'm thinking here. And I'll give you an example from the Dual Town. You know, when you hear this small rumor, do not overlook it, brother, because you don't know who's working under the cover of darkness somewhere. But you know, again, there is good advantage nowadays, and that is the cell phone, the internet age we're in. You see, because trust me, when Churchill they were crossing the border after training in Libya, in fact, when we were in Libya training, if we were in a kind of age, we were going to receive some kind of picture from Libya to show it. Yeah, now we are in a technology age. You can't hide anything very easily. So if anybody want to start any small nonsense somewhere, it's very easy to pick on it. You can sit down right here. Now there is something we call intelligence visibility. You can sit down here and see anywhere, see any information from anywhere. So if anybody want to start any nonsense library, it will leak up before. But let me get welcome. Or that's my closing. My closing on this issue will be transitioning soon. I mean, not transitioning, but we'll be going to the next topic soon. But let me get close on this by saying, by buttressing what you said, the government needs to take this thing seriously. They should not come and say, oh, you know, and all your Muslim people, like Amara Connect them, all the people who know you guys are Muslim. When the people talk about somebody's religion, get hurt. But you're taking it easy, you're cool. If anything happen, do not just jump there. Try to do your own investigation. So this is not pointed. This action, if the government will be arresting people, it will not be pointed at any religion. It will be pointed at a group, because this is a group that is dragging your religion in this year. So I'll close on that, and then we're going to take a break, and we'll come back. Then we'll go to the next topic from Paul. So stay with us, and let's have good discussions.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Chola Play conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, Audience with Lord Chola Play. On the Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Cholo Play Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottom Line Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask.
Welcome back. This is the Bottomline Liberia discussions, and we are looking at major stories that make headlines in Liberia and across the world. My name is Linford Goer. Paul, the Lord Chiripley, is also there in the UK. Paul, before we go, before we move on to the next story, let me ask you, how's the weather?
It's been raining, man. It's been raining. And what happened? We are actually heading for the better days in Europe, which is, when the weather start changing, they call the thing here the beginning of new life. Now, the Christian people went and tied the pagan holiday into that thing called Jesus Christ resurrection. But it's the beginning of new life. When all the trees die the leaves die during the winter, when it's coming back, when that nice weather start coming, the trees, the leaves start growing. That's the beginning of new life. So yes, we now start seeing grass and little things coming up now. So Easter is just around the corner because of that. That's why if you look at the Christian calendar, they cannot tell you the exact date that Jesus died. So in the pagan holiday, when life starts, new life begin. That's why you find Easter sometime in March and sometime in April. So yes, we're heading towards the beginning of new things, new flower, new growth of new plants. So we're heading towards that end. So yes, the weather is getting better, but it's rainy. As it rains, small sun, then new life start growing.
We are far from that. We we say having snow here. We are far from that. But
Yes.
the good thing is that the daylight is getting much better. In December we have daylight by like around 9 o'clock. That's on for daylight, and then by 2 o'clock it's dark again. But now I think we're 3 hours now by. So we are like having more daylight now than sun. And a few days ago the sun was up. Today it was -5, 6. So it was very good, and we think. But again, next week is going to be bad. But this is the weather. We don't want to boil down our viewers with the weather thing. But let me recognize a few people that will move on. Joy Lynn Tutiman. Welcome, Pataki, and also Kamakazi Atta. I know heard that name before. But welcome to the Bottomline Liberia discussions, and welcome to Alan Goa and the rest of you guys whose names I don't see here on the board. And we said this program is participatory, meaning everybody can participate. You can leave your comments. You can call in if you want to. If you want, just read a comment, say I want to call and leave my contribution. We can bring you on, so we can have your views too. This is not a classroom, or this is not a surgery where the doctor will get performing and you are sitting and watching the doctor. No. This is very participatory. Everybody can talk. You can give your views and whether it's correct or not. And nobody has correct or wrong views here. So do not be afraid to make your points in the comment box and whatever. But let's just inform you that you are listening to.
You're watching the review of Liberian newspapers headlines that made news during the week on the Bottomline Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
Paul, the demolition and the hunger that is striking Liberians, especially children and women. How does that concern you?
In every nation, when children are hungry, it is concerning because it become malnourished, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not healthy for a group of people that will go through hunger and then demolition. So they all link together. So if you don't have a home, the late couples you will have, you'll be looking for a home. How will you spend that on food? You'll be hungry to start with. So those two, they intertwine. You cannot do it without them. So yeah, it's a bit concerning, and that is the scary part of it. Hunger is not a good thing because what happens, it leads to disaster, death, malnourished, kill kids. So if you are homeless also, it leads to security factor as well. You be at risk, somebody could harm you, especially if you female on your own. So those are, and children, those are things that we all need to look at and pay key attention to. What the cause behind it. We know that everything is going well. We've been hearing about development in Liberia. How they call it, rest price has dropped. But then why is it people are hungry? Is that have to do with economic situation? Is that related to jobs? People don't have jobs or they don't have businesses. So why would they be hungry when we've been hearing that prices are reduced? Or prices are reduced by month and people cannot get funds funding to buy those things? These are the questions that we all need to ask. So yes, the two actually link together, link for.
Okay, so we will look at this picture you see on the screen. This story actually comes from the front page Africa newspaper, and it says Liberia's silent crisis. This is a crisis. This hunger situation is a silent. No, we have. Let me just put it in the context of this story, the headline, right? Silent crisis. We got silent crisis, and then we get noisy crisis. What is that noisy crisis? Where you see people demonstrating, demonstrating taking place all over the place. The people fighting government fighting there. Or you got war, people fighting, using guns and things. But they want is silent. And this is the most dangerous one. Because you know what? If war takes place, you can run away. Let me get remove it from the screen, and then we can talk. If war take place, you're able to run away. You at least you hear the sound of your gun. You can see the people physically. But hunger and disease, they are silent killers. They are silent human enemies. Somebody can be hungry and be passing here, my man. Only that man can feel hunger. You can't look in the man's stomach. You know what's going on there. All his stomach grinding. And that man, maybe you stomach full, you see that man, you think he's a normal guy. No. Or you can see a guy who is sick from some chronic disease. But because that man had not fallen down or he's not in the hospital, you not know. So
leave for somebody want to call in.
Okay.
So please read out the number to them.
Okay. The number, I'll repeat it very, very slowly. The country code is a WhatsApp number. So the country code is +47. That's the country code, +47. Then the numbers 99 450 882. Once again, +47 99 450 882 is a WhatsApp number. So, like I was saying, hunger, disease, they are all silent crises. They are silent human enemy. You don't hear the sound of hunger coming. You can feel, you can see it. You can see people suffering, malnourishment. Okay, but you don't hear it coming, and then you cannot take precaution. Like if you look in this picture, you see some. I'm sorry that, but let me just move the cursor there. If you look on the screen, maybe where the PB rating, the red rating is not able to go to the left hand side of the picture or the right hand side, depending on how it appears on your screen. You see a child that is looking very malnourished. Can you imagine? So you be person, imagine yourself, be man, you wake up in the morning, you won't eat anything, you go to work or whatever. You lose balance, you'll not be yourself. You see, what about a child? Children's stomach small, it is small. Get it if you fold your hand in your palm. That's small children's stomach big. Their intestine small. So that's why you see children eat over and over because they eat small food, then their stomach full. When they pee or poo, then they empty, then they gotta eat again. See, so they could get malnourished, and even people can get malnourished. So this is a crisis, and the question is: there is no war in this country. There is no any big crisis. The people running away, people are not home, nothing is stable. So why is it that people are hungry at this time? And when they say rest price drop, or it say that people don't have money to buy food, and I don't want somebody who can afford to come here and say, oh, everything is good in the country. No, not everything is good. I was in Liberia recently. You go in my town, in my country, they play white whistle. People take a rice and carry it to the white man to sell it. This time I put buy rice from Montreal, bringing it back. This is paradoxical. I don't understand because the only picture of my town or my community in my head is when the people need money to beat the rice, or so I take the rough rice, they carry the machine, beat it, then they sell it to the money man. Okay, then they party the fish and all sort and all small nothing. But this is the opposite around. Instead of carrying bitter ball, plenty and things there, the people can go to Montreal to buy to bring it in the interior. So why the thing reverse? Paul?
That is the look. The thing is boiled down to economics. Economic crisis, it all will lead to hungriness. If people are unemployed, if they don't have businesses to do, if they cannot farm, and it all, I mean, I guess this newspaper, the Front Page Africa reported this is actually from the Monrovia end, where people are sitting down home looking, because I think they did mention something about nuclear town. So you wake up in the morning, you look at your friend look at you, you're begging somebody to have little salt and a couple of restaurants. If they don't have it, then what become of you? And no, Linford is a sad story.
Yeah,
You have family in Liberia that depend on me and you overseas. Some people don't have that.
Exactly.
So
and
if
the Front Page Africa,
anyone,
the Front Page Africa actually summarized it here. They talk about the group that are, or the major points that they mentioned. They talk about women and children are at the center of this growing hunger crisis in Liberia. And imagine that, that's why, maybe when your family, your parents are still correct, when they're still living on earth, they will feel you don't know their importance until when they die. Even how big you are. I sit here with no father and mother, but at least even the last few years before my mother died, I still felt that I had somebody who I depended on. So children will always depend on their parents, whether their parents are poor or not. And in Liberia, we got a situation with most women where the men will kind of born by them and then abandon them and go. So now they don't see the man for several years, and that one woman is suffering with maybe 2 or 3, 4 children. You understand what I mean? So women and children are at the center of this crisis that the Front Page Africa mentioned about, and they talk about they living very fragile livelihood. Their life is bad. Anybody can die anytime from hunger. I know. I've seen hunger. I've seen people during the wartime. I've seen somebody walking. I mean, the man walk. He fell down. Then people cry. Oh, you're helping man. Some people say you're carrying man to the hospital. Why don't you're carrying the man fainted? He didn't die, but you fainted. So then somebody say no. Maybe anybody get Gary or anybody get small right you're bringing for the man. The man, when he heard that thing, open his eye. He said, the person who told you, say you get sick. Then the person said that person who told you get sense. Why all about thinking about carrying Papi to the hospital? Papi listening to all of them. Oh no, you're calling people. Then one woman say, your first small thing, maybe Gary. Then the Papi open his eye small. He say, you who told you get sense.
So you are actually hungry.
You're actually hungry. So we know what can happen. And the next group that Front Page talk about, the next point here, they talk about malnutrition remains widespread despite the sign of improvement. And that's what I said. You who working small, or you doing something, you can get a couple of bread for your children to eat. Do not look at your own situation and conclude that it is a situation with everybody. So don't say, oh, hey, the country okay. No, it's okay for you, but not for other people. Then they also talk about female-headed household are especially vulnerable. Now, when you talk about female-headed household, what is that? The thing I said before, women that are taking care of their children. Every time I see video from the market, when the journalists go around interviewing the market with me, then they always say, oh, that is the market are depending on to send my children to school, to pay the rent. That is of a female that is heading a household. The whole house on a woman here in a small pen where she carrying around with slipper. The whole house, livelihood in a small pen there. She gotta go sell one slipper, take the money and buy rice. Then she will sell another pair. Then she take the money to buy feed. Then the last pair to buy now, that one she will use to buy another new slipper again. So that woman carrying the whole house. Oh, hey, that's a female headed household. So those are the most vulnerable group of people that the Front Page Africa highlighted. But anyway, Paul, you got anything to say?
But Linford, you remember the music about Prince Nicole? Yeah, Prince Nicole made a music. That one mothers are quite important. If the child don't eat, the mother will not eat. That child must eat. But if the mother don't have it, how will the child eat?
Paul, you said something. No, there is something special about mothers. Do you imagine that the last time I ever saw my mom was some 9 years ago before her death, and this woman, she will see all men like me. She eating her food. They cook the food. They give her no food. We all eating. I finish eating my food. Then the woman will take her meat and bring it to me to eat it. Hey man, I got brothers. All my smaller brothers. One of them here on their life now. All the small brothers are behind. She didn't give it to them. She can't give it to me. So then I imagine myself. So it means mothers are like this all the time.
Yeah.
That they always think about their children. So women are very sometimes I want to believe that the building block of the society actually is the women. Women are the building blocks of society. So try with me. All Liberia, all the women, the whole Liberia break down 1 minute.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
1 minute will break down.
I
No woman.
agree with you.
Imagine, Paul. I was looking at Google. I know how accurate it is, but they got something that it projects the world population every second. It increasing by 1 or 2. Generally, and the number flipping. Then it was around 6 billion, 7 billion. Then I say, you mean all the people that women born there? Can you imagine? All the whole population, 7 billion people on the earth that women born all. Can you imagine? So, when you see women suffering, and so now I see the women cry on the internet, oh my children are in school. Can you imagine? What a woman is going through? The hunger. She will make herself hungry, just for the children to eat. And pretty nigga when he made up music, sweet mother. Move on, Paul.
Okay. Yeah. So you talk about demolition and hunger. If you don't have property, what else will you do? If you get a dam, you don't want to be sleeping outside for rain to beat you. So that dam will actually go on some little shelter. You'll be hungry, but you honor some little protection. So the two actually blend in. Today, the demolition continue in Liberia. And some people are happy, some people are sad. So we call in two places. People are saying it's good for developmental purpose, right? And some people are saying, well, if you want to develop, you give notice, you do something that no one have done. So that means you build, you move the people in, you demolish. But you cannot demolish, and the people they have nowhere to go. And we're talking about people are hungry. And who suffer a lot in this situation? Women and children. You see the thing, if you're a man, you can sleep anywhere. You can go to a market place or open place, you can sleep on the table, you protect yourself. It can happen to women, it can happen to children. So when you're demolishing property, you have to consider the women and the children. If you can't consider the women and the children, the society is in serious crisis. So let me see if I can learn all these things. I'm not going to show the demolition itself, but to a particular woman whose house has been demolished. And the reaction of this woman will tell you exactly what we're saying here. Let me see if I can learn all this quickly. It will be good to elevate the conversation. Let me see if I can do this. Link for, yes, where is it? Okay. If you can see this.
From grounds of the Capitol building, just opposite the state-run university campus. The CEO of the Entertainment Center that is situated along the second junction there in Painesville, following the demolition exercise of the 72nd barracks that is currently ongoing. Whole property has been affected as we speak. There's an ongoing demolition exercise where the armed forces of Liberia, along with the Ministry of Defense, in collaboration with the Ministry of Defense, they are reclaiming its 72nd barracks. According to the Deputy Operations Minister of Operations, Deputy Minister of Operations, Ministry of Defense, instead that the AFL had 37 acres of land, and the armed forces of Liberia, along with the Ministry of Defense, claim 14 acres instead of claiming it's 37 acres of land, and she's part of her property was or demolished in the process. She's affected as well. She's part of those people, these inhabitants.
Lisa, we were just talking about women, children, and hunger. Another woman is homeless. You see the risk factor that our linking. She may not have a husband, she may not have a boyfriend, she may have a little child. Where are we heading? So this is what I'm saying. Where humanitarian comes, the humanity of a person comes in. If you're going to if you're going to demolish, consider women, children. So what become of that woman? If she does not have a job, what become of her?
I don't know whether it's this identical woman, but a couple of weeks ago, or maybe months ago, there was a woman also the press interview. At the time the demolition news were coming on, and she has a business center around there. She has invested. She just pay money for that place. She invested a lot of money there. I think it was a restaurant or something. You could see her things, that new things that she just put in place. And they barricaded it, they cordoned it with the police line, and they said they were going to demolish it. And she was talking to the press. I don't know whether she's the same woman, but how be it?
No, it's not her. That's a different one.
Okay. So you can just see how many people will be affected. So at least we're talking about two different women here. And this woman looks like a woman that has children, because she's not a small girl, from what I see. And when you see her, if she was just ordinary girl, a girl who maybe was just living there with some friends or whatever, she would not be crying this cry. But the woman looks like she has invested a lot in that place. And she now feels hopeless. So let's just imagine that the woman got only one child, not even children, but only one child. And you demolish her home. Where is she going to go? But again, people will back it, will say, oh, yes, it's, for development purpose. But what is development? You demolish this place here. The next day, you're not putting anything there that will benefit the people to say, okay, we're breaking the place, we're going to build more, and we'll provide job for people. We're breaking the place now, we're going to open some factory or whatever. But you only break it down because you feel when you level it, then they say that development. Okay, you want to build road, but the road you're building for people in Liberia, people how they get money to buy a car. And I see all the jackasses, they go, sorry for my expression, they come on internet, they got to build a road, the development. And you see them walking on the road. I drove from Montreal to my town. On the Banga Highway, you see the people walking on the road. They're walking. The simple who happy for development, they're walking. They in a car, leaving us at income. So you then how does that benefit you? How does that benefit only the ministers and no BP people? That's why they're building the road for themselves. You should be looking for a job. When you get a job, then you can buy your car. Then you can even build your own road. You go into your house, but you don't have job. Then you're happy for a road, what they're building for people who get car. So, but Liberia situation is just difficult to discuss because the same people who are being affected are the same people who will support what is affecting them. And this woman, her cry is genuine, but again, the government say they are developing. And let me tell you something about demolition. In Norway, I don't know about other European countries. In Norway, because the demolition that is going on in Liberia, the main reason they're giving is road construction and whatever. In Norway, most European highway that you see in the UK, that you see in Netherlands, in Denmark, in Germany, everywhere, they are also here. I live on the E16, the European Highway 16. The road can connect all European countries. You can find it anywhere else. But this road is one of the worst roads in, and the European how we talking about, Paul, when we go to Holland or Germany or Belgium, the kind of road that we can drive on. I've seen roads, the standard's supposed to be here. But because of mountains and the whole lot of water we got, the big mountain, our roads are smaller. And in addition, I was discussing with some people the other day. They say, "Oh, government, that Norway lady, you think when government ready to build road or go beg people to move?" I said, "It's different in Liberia. Our roads are crooked. Even the small country road, they are crooked because why? The road is going to somebody's farm. Government negotiate with the man. The man say, no, I don't want to give I don't want any money for my farm. My farm is what my family I inherited. It's what my family will live on for even if I die." So the government will not force them. They will pass the road on the other side. So you drive on the road, a curving. Our roads here very curvy.
Right, Linford.
Yeah.
Linford. I see comment from two persons, Francis and another whether Jason. Right. Now they say, Francis, are you guys pointing? Are you serious, Linford? The thing here is nobody against demolition.
Yeah, but the question Francis asking is dubious. I'm serious about what? I'm serious.
About the demolition, about the woman crying and all that. But the thing here is demolition, no one against it. And I can give example, honor or good government. We were living in Jalatan. There was no road in Jalatan when we were kids.
Now,
you are coming to Liberia. Let's see. You are coming. All the houses that were over there, the government paid our parents to build our road, and they were able to move. There was no problem. Now, at the time, the population we're talking about, say Liberia were 1.5 million people. If at that time. So tell me today where the population is 6 million. They say 5 point some more million, so 6 million people. Lack of jobs and the population growing, people will settle anywhere. It's the government responsibility to build houses for the people that don't have it. That's why government is that the people that have the government, they put you there to better their lives. So if you're going to demolish somewhere that is squat, do the sensible thing to find somewhere for them, and then you demolish. Now, this woman is crying. She has nowhere to go. So where become that her safety is in the hand of the government? That is the bottom line of it. The safety of the citizens is in the hands of the government. So you say, oh, for development, say, let's just break it down, that their business. You're not there for your people. That is the bottom line to this story. Therefore, I don't know
what you see, people understand this thing differently. No, Francis Mensah, you and I living the Scandinavia. If the government go around building road all over the place and you don't have job, how you drive on that? How you go? You get job. You're not even find car. You not get money to pay boss. The thing is simple. Everything go hand in hand. No, their priority when it comes to development, their priority. Now, when you finish high school, you go to college. When you start working, you not go back first. You first of all try to find a place to be. Okay? You try to find a house or buy a house. Then when you buy a house, if you want to marry, you get a family, then you buy a car. Or maybe because of your job, you'll be able to buy a car. So you get priority. You get a country where the majority of people are working, you buy a car. So then why are people working? Saying it's important to construct the road. I'm not saying it's not important to construct the road, but what is the priority? The road construction and no job, people not working, no hospital, no medicine. I saw people carrying some of the patient. I was driving on the highway. I saw people carrying patient in the hammer on the road. The road they happy for, clapping for. They walking with the patient that should have going. I was laughing, and my brother or me in the car, they know what I'm laughing for. I would just look at something and laugh, but they don't understand. You see, so there is not. We gotta have priority. Road construction is good. It's good, but when you construct a road, who's going to use the road?
But Linford, the fact is the budget that the government came up with, nothing there to show that all of these other way they're trying to do it's not in the budget.
No.
So you prioritize something to break down, make the people homeless. You don't going to give them job. You're not going to pay housing unit for them, nothing. Some kind of late $15 late housing unit that, like, I'll tell you, that's why they say travel is quite good. When I went to the USSR as a teenage, what happened? They put big storage building for 18 years old that were finishing school to start new life. They had apartments. And then when you start working, you start paying back something to the government. But nothing as such in Liberia. Everybody just, so if you build your house, around your house, when you fence, say somebody can't put zinc house there because there's nowhere to live. So consider the people first. That's my point here.
You see, the way people look at things is what makes it. No, everything is good. Everything is good. But when you look at it certain way and prioritize the low. In economy, there is something called scale of preference, right? Scale of preference, where you start from the priority. You don't start from the bottom up. Okay, so if you wake up in the morning, what is your scale of preference? The first thing is you find food to eat, because if you're hungry, you can't do nothing. If you wake up in the morning, first thing you find food.
Let me answer first. He says something Liberia is not a welfare society. Great. In the United Kingdom here, all the houses you see in the United Kingdom that were laid out, it was built by the government. And people started paying rent to the government.
And
it's not a welfare state, but I just gave me an example. You could do the same thing in Liberia. Build houses, people pay rent. People, not everybody capable of building houses. That's the point. It's the government responsibility to build. That's why we have national housing unit back in the days. It's the government responsibility.
And President is saying that road construction will create job. How many? No, you see all these things. President, how many? You're not engineer. You're not you. So tell me, if they were building a piece of road between, I don't know what road go against that, but they were building a piece of road between, rail line and ERW junction. You employ the whole Liberia to go right there? No. They get people, they all right. And nowadays, in that thing, what you think about where people will build road from Maryland with their hair coming to Montreal? No, you get machine doing the work. So how many people will be operating that machine? Those are career error. So don't say I'm going to build roads, so I'll employ people. What will be doing? You get one man driving the forklift to carry things. You get somebody driving the grader, somebody driving the heavy machine. We can press the road down. So what all of people will be doing? No, listen, there are priority things. Okay, let's forget about road construction. The government came to power with a rest agenda. The A was agriculture. Francis, show me one agricultural achievement that you guys have done, because you should have gone alphabetically, or maybe start from the other side, from the last letter coming from to the front letter. You talk about rest, agriculture. Where's the agriculture?
Linford, I beg you. I beg you, gone far. Don't go to the agenda. The word is the king to rescue. So how on earth you can't rescue somebody? The person cannot rescue you, made the person homeless. So what's the logic in it? Getting on the wall, rescue. You cannot rescue your citizen because the citizen don't have it. Now you're making the same citizen that you cannot rescue, you're making that homeless. What a logic in it? I mean, common sense is just lacking. Because if you're talking about, job roles create jobs, yeah, you have few person that will be doing it, but the population increasing every minute, every second, and you can't rescue those people because they were dying, they were suffering, they were going through hell, they were homeless, they were taking drugs, they became zocos, and the very people you can't rescue now, you're turning the people into zocos. Anybody with common sense, it just ain't got to do with no rewriting here. Just common sense tell you, you already get a nation that turning to drugs because no jobs. Now you can't make them homeless. You telling them to go be drug
addicts. And guess what? The number of Zogo will increase because
that's the point.
People tend to Zogo.
You're not considering your citizen. That's the point.
Imagine this thing government went to Ghana. They encouraged the people to come from Ghana when they came. They didn't do nothing for them. So my people went back Ghana. So you see, no, listen, what we're talking here.
Let's say the truth. The truth here is we agree for development. But that development, this is where you make the choice. West Point is a very beautiful place that people can go on Sunday, but we want to move the people from West Point. What do? West Point, that squatter place, if you look at it, what do we do? Because West Point is so beautiful, but let's compensate these people somewhere. Let's go and build a new estate somewhere and move the people into that estate and demolish West Point. Sensible people will think that way. But if you don't have that common sense, you will do the obvious. That's what this government is doing. Lack of common sense. You can't rescue people. You have people homeless already called Zoko. Then you're making more people to be Zokos. What a logic in it.
Let me remind you about have you heard about the Amalika Cabra estate on the Oro?
Yep.
Tower project. Did you hear about New Jersey where Francis grew up?
Tower.
Francis, I'm talking to you. I'm sorry that now on the show tonight. The Tower project. Tower did not go bringing people whom Tower build things so that low-income people will be able to own, and you live there, Francis. You are a beneficiary of this thing we're talking. So start supporting wrong. Number 2 or number 3. What the other essay on to Lapasi or I call it. They want to Lapasi. They want beyond Pupu factory. Oh man, Matadi. They own a new Matadi. You see there, you build those things. When people move there, or because we know you want to make a project, nobody's against road construction. Government property. No, the citizens are more important more than the government property. This is why you need to understand. So you're gonna let's say you displace the people, flood come or storm come. For instance, if you are living in Liberia or Europe and you are living in Europe, then they come and destroy your house in the winter. Where you go? Because government want to. The places that they breaking down, what have they done there in recent time? Nothing. And those places will really hello, Mary. And like I said, let me welcome a few people again, man. We'll continue the discussions. Roberto Riches, welcome. Somebody else was here that came for the first time. Okay, so yeah, okay, Mary, welcome. And we're talking about, Francis, prioritize your citizens. The land and the citizen, the land will always be here. But if nobody to develop on this land, if nobody to live on the land will not be developed. So the citizens are number one priority. How you think about development, then you suffer your citizens. Well, nobody is saying that you should not build roads, but the road and the people, which are important. My man, you grew up in Ghana, you used to go to that place. You used to go to yeah.
Auntie Francis asked a question about common sense. In Liberia, there's something called common sense that is lacking. We all know that. It has nothing to do with how common sense is just lacking. People just lack of common sense. And common sense is the key to any developmental agenda in the world. If you have common sense, if any government lack common sense, they don't do the right thing. And this is what we're seeing. This current government, they lack common sense when it comes to looking after the citizen. If you prioritize your citizen, you'll not just make them homeless. That is the facts. If you like it or not, that is the fact. If I were in this government, I would advise, let's build some 4-story building land there or somewhere and move these people from the alleyway and move them in so they can be homeless. Because when the people get sick,
this is simple. Look, you are government. You are collecting taxes. You are collecting revenue. So all you do, most of the people they don't need anywhere any kind of luxury home. Just build, look kind of fast solid whole thing and it's an example. Yeah, just build one long house. Everybody get that entry couché. One Frenchman called entry couché.
And they pay $1 if they're not working, if they're not working, they pay some kind of $5, $1 for that rent. The day you start working, money go. Where is that common sense that Liberians just lack of common sense? It's just common sense issue.
Let's transition, man. We're not waste our time on this thing because the government, the people, you talk to them. No matter what you say, my brother, the people will not listen. The people, they are only there to satisfy themselves. Okay? So, you see, people like Francis, like you and me, we grew up, my father used to work at a bank, so, chase my thing. So, we all grew up, we also got a house in Ghana. We all grew, so we never actually experienced the thing we're talking. So, that you, Francis, and me, and other people will not experience it. So, it's difficult for us to know what the people going through. You not live homeless. You not live outside. Your house that our parents built. Nobody came and broke it down, and then you standing. You get nowhere to go. You got no saving. You got no. It's difficult. But when you're in your shoes, you always think that it's, my grandfather used to tell me, because he used to talk about the Charlie War. They ain't no World War II. Then he say, how they used to run away and go in and push the distance. Then I can ask questions and say, but why you run away? Why I can't go for it? He said, let me tell you one thing, in the war that you are not on, you will always be the hero. Until our own walking war running around say, I truly Papa used to talk, well, I'm going for it too. So, for instance, once you never live the life that we're talking about, you will not know, brother. Imagine being homeless. You don't get nowhere to go, my man. No, when you're hungry, you can drink water, you can eat food, you can buy bread in the street. But the way I always tell my brothers and sisters, people who fight to come to Europe, yeah, the European, when they were in that place, they consider us. But let somebody just put in a plane and can't put you in Norway or in Oslo and say, okay, yeah, you in Europe now, where you go? The first thing I'll come to your mind, food not problem, because you can see the kiosk open, you can buy anything and eat. But where I was sleeping there, because I haven't seen that experience it. In Europe, yeah.
But Linford, do you think why the European, when they lay out houses and all of the, how they call it, welfare houses for people who cannot afford, as much as you in a society, you're not working, they rather put you somewhere that you pay some little contribution for that place.
Yes. And you will not be bored, you will not be problem.
So why on earth all countries that Liberia cannot look after its own citizen and we pay taxes? Look, I gave an example. If they want to build housing unit in Liberia, an easy piece of thing they can do. You start with the legislature, the 103 legislature. The 3 vehicles that senator and representative getting, slash that money and put it in housing unit. Let people leave those things and go be in alleyway.
Government need big money to even build housing unit. Let me tell you one strategy they will use. Okay, you breaking down one particular area. Okay, today they were in a political area, right? Go and negotiate with those people. Say we will break the play down in 6 months' time. But within a 6 month time, we want to find somewhere for you to settle. So what we need more power. More power. All the men that are living, women, everybody will come. There will be several jobs for you to do. So we can build new place for you. For small money. So you will even get a cooperation of the people to go and be helping with the project. The people can mix it black. People who can be laying black. You see, quick, within 6 months time, government got to spend you money to do the thing. Because the people once you provide place for them to go, they'll go. The people are not sitting to that place because they want to be there or because they want to defy government, but that's the only place
they don't have it.
They don't have it.
If it's somewhere rain beating you, you take zinc and stick it on somebody's house. That's the fact. So
let's move on, man.
Care for your citizen. That is what lacking. I've said it over and over. If you go to Liberia, go in Liberian community, have a discussion, home and abroad. We Liberians, we lack of something called common sense. Until we get common sense, things will be better. We don't have common sense. If you hear some of the discussion, you want to say, but where are we coming from? Now, there's a 35-year-old boy right in West Africa that everybody praising him for what? Because the young men start applying what we call common sense, which our leaders lack of. And this is the point that frustrates us. 35-year-old boy come, he said, oh, this is the way how you help your citizen. This is how you create job. But then the other people there, they cannot do it. And it's just frustrating that you put women and children on the street, say, oh, because of development. And you know you're not going to develop anything. You're just breaking down places that you're not even put nothing there. Then you say, oh, that development. Now,
Paul, let's transition.
Let me end on this note. You see the Satan area that this private owner took and broke down. And you see those kind of places, if the government had interest, that is those sort of area you build up beautiful shopping mall with parking lot. What you have done, you created jobs for people who in that area to work, and then they can go somewhere to benefit themselves. Those are the places, those are the things we call development. But now, if you break the alleyway down and then say, oh, let it go on their own, I mean, the people will suffer. And this is the situation we face in Liberia. So until we start having common sense, things will be better in Liberia, but no common sense. And this is my point on this show tonight. The bottom line is leaders in Liberia does not have common sense. So if you have common sense, you not make women and children and babies homeless. And this is the point I'm making. So we're going to transition on the international scene. When Linford come back, we'll go talk about. But while we wait on Linford, we're going to have a quick break. Starting from the 1st of March, the Lord Cholope will be having a program here every Sunday at 8 o'clock Liberian time, 9 o'clock Central European time. So we're making the announcement starting from the 1st of March. So what is that commercial of the Lord Cholope? I want you all to watch out. It'll be every Sunday starting from the 1st of March.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Cholope conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, audience with Lord Cholope. On the Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Cholope Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottom Line Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask.
Yes, that's the Lord Cholope, starting from the 1st of March, will be on the show to provide common sense solution to the Liberian problem. So, Linford, let's transition. What the hell is happening in the Middle East? Talk to me, Linford. We've been told at this weekend, there'll be serious crisis in the Middle East. And before we get into that, I just want to ask you the question, Linford. Unknown nuclear weapons state have challenged a nuclear weapons state. Have you heard that before? Unknown. It's like David and Goliath. Goliath was so huge and David that small. Say, look, I challenge you. This is what going on in the Middle East. The non-nuclear state have challenged the world's most superpower. Have you heard that before? Think on it.
You know,
And have you heard before
when
nuclear country attack a superpower or nuclear superpower before? Have you heard that before in the war?
it depends.
Only one
It
country.
depends.
That's only one country that have done it. It's Iran. That went and attacked American military base in Qatar. It was only Iran that recent times sent a drone on when they're bringing their, how they call it, massive ship to test them. What is going on in the Middle East? Why is a non-nuclear state is having dialogue with a superpower? What's going on? Is it about the time that the bullet by the smaller child, or what's going on, Linford? What is going on? Is America hiding behind something that they have all of mighty power? They have to go in negotiation with Iran that before they will just go and bomb. They will go say, oh, it's Gaddafi, boom. What the hell is going on that all the negotiations? So are they telling us something we don't know? Talk to me before we let the video roll.
It depends on the situation. You know, under a normal situation, you will not see a nuclear or non-nuclear power or non-nuclear nation attacking a fully armed nuclear nation, because they will consider the extent of the damage that will be done in case of any engagements, military engagements. But it comes to the point where you have to push back. You know, in physics, they say every force has an opposite or equal force. That's why when you bounce a football, take a tennis ball and bounce it, or football, bounce it, it will not stay on the ground, it will bounce back. Once it get air, it will bounce back. You see, because when you push a man to the wall, there's no other way to get out. You got to push back. And it has come to the point where the entire world, it will come, the entire world might be nuclear power or nuclearized. And you know the reason why? Because those countries that other countries consider to be the big countries say, okay, everybody cannot be equal. So we'll give you people the power so that you can be the lead. Now they are not using their power to suppress the rest of the countries. So everybody's kind of like, no. And I will give you a sample. Country after the World War II, certain group of countries, especially in Europe, they were convinced by America that, okay, we got one big enemy, which is in the East. So in order for us to be able, your people are small, we are all small. In order for us to be able to combat our enemy, let's come together under something called NATO. And that's how the whole NATO was formed. Now, what's happening? In the same NATO countries, one big country is trying to take advantage of them. So the other people say, but then I think we have reached a point now. It's just like you get the children when they grow or they are men. Your children grow up as men, they are men. You can't do what you should do to them. You can't grab them, lay them and spank them anymore. They will say, no, don't do that. You see, and that's what's happening. And we are seeing it that when Donald Trump threatened to take Greenland, what happened? Some European countries were even saying that they will help Denmark. See, so everybody are opening, and that's why you will see a country like Iran fighting its might to be able to withstand this quote unquote boogeyman that has all the nuclear power. But the thing is, self-defense, my friend. Whether you're small or big, when somebody attacks you, you got to defend yourself. Die fighting. Don't die running away. Die fighting. Die hard. And that's my most favorite actor, Bruce Willis. Die Hard. I watch all the Die Hard series. Don't die running away, because you will be a coward. And this is where nations or people will take advantage of others. And you ask what's happening in the Middle East. The thing that is happening in the Middle East, there is no reason why it should happen at all. From my own point of view, this is personal. This is what I feel, because there is no reason that you will look at one. You got a group of countries. Then you look at one particular country that you've been behind this country for years. You've done everything to get rid of them for no reason. And this country, since I grew up, I have not heard that Iran went to some other country to attack them. No. Iran always minding their business, but they are the ones that people attack. And when they fight back, then they say, oh, they're Iranian. People were born in Iran. They've been there. Then you say that government is not good. You want to change leadership. And the people, even some people run away, people will still be there. Some people still support that government. So leave them. America doing all these things. Who say everything is 100% in America? Go to California now. Go to Hollywood. I saw a video where you see people living in the street. People living in the street.
What happened in Liberia now?
Yeah. So, and then you leave all the people, when we went to Iran, people that you know, they're not related to you. But it's all because of power. Somebody want to control somebody and show that they are the big guy. And it depends on the head of the, on the mind of the leader. You got a video you roll, but I'll also roll a video to tell you when you have people who are not thinking, you talk about common sense. When you know somebody whose brain is not functional, they can make no kind of decision. Just amass all of your military hardware and carry it to one region because you want to go attack some country. But play that video from there. I'll roll this video that I got.
So there are quite a few video liner here, but let's start with this one here. And this thing here is quite funny. And let me bring the thing is all have to do with one person. One person only is Israel. Let roll the thing. It's just a few minutes play. I think this is the one. If I get it right, that would be the one.
The difference, when
Now, the Iranian foreign minister has also told Al Jazeera that missiles are never negotiable because they are a defense issue. And I agree with that. Like, why are we having a discussion about missiles? This is stupid. Now, of course, Israel likes to move the goalposts because they don't want peace. They don't want the US to reach a deal with Iran. They want war. And so Israel has stated that missiles are a red line for them and they will attack Iran on their own if they need to. Well, we all know that Israel would be like absolutely destroyed by Iran without the help of the United States. So whether the US is gonna like it or not, they will be dragged into that war should Israel, just like the 12-day war, attack Iran first. Israel will attack Iran, Iran will respond in kind and a lot more viciously, and then Israel's gonna need its daddy to come and rescue it, meaning the American taxpayers and the US government with the help of the US military.
Linfa, it's Israel. Israel, just since Donald Trump took office, Israel have bombed 7 countries in the region. When they did away Iran, they got the warning that they overlooked Iran and it got, I would call it, really beating. America have to rush to come to their aid without one bomb that they say, oh, we destroyed their nuclear site. You remember?
Yeah.
There is a very Netanyahu again going to Donald Trump. I think he got something on Donald Trump to convince him again that these guys, the thing they use on us, we need to get rid of it before they come back again. You get the message? So this now going have to do, it have nothing to do with nuclear weapon now. It have to do with the kind of ballistic missile that they use. So we need to get rid of it because if these guys have it, they will destroy us. So let's go P first again. So I got my carpet in my house. I decide, look, I want a wallpaper to match with my carpet. What does that have to do with you live for that? I want to put wallpaper in my room and you come and beat me for my own wallpaper. What sort of bullying is that? This is how it looks like. That guy mind his own business, doing his own thing. The Israel in question have nuclear weapon. Nobody saying anything about it because they link with the big boys. But the other guy on the side said, look, I have to defend myself. Say, no. Let's call big brother. Let's beat this guy to stop him from having this. Is that the end of this nonsense that they have in the negotiation? Remember, there was negotiation first when Israel attacked and they got a beating of Iran. So now, no, they are not going to destroy anymore. Let's destroy them first. Linford talk to me. They are wrote something else.
No, listen. The whole thing here is there is somebody somewhere who is afraid of what they've been doing. And so it's coming back to bite them in the behind. And so in order for them to be protected, they will look for somebody big. It's just like a little boy who is frisky and he goes around picking falls depending on the big brother. At a certain time, it will fail. And when it fails, you will be in danger. What Israel is doing to Iran is all about what they've been doing to Iran. They are afraid. They feel that, and they underestimated Iran until the 12-day war proved that there was no power that Israel had that Iran could not counteract. So now they know. Now, did you hear the lady when she quoted the Israeli defense minister? They say that missiles are not negotiable. So you can bring all other negotiations on the table, but not tell us not to have our missile. because that's why that's a sovereign nation. Okay, let's say they're not fighting Israel, but different countries come to fight them. So what do we have to defend themselves? Every country in the world, that it seems we started with security when we talk about Liberia. Everybody on earth, the first thing is security, and that has to do with first law of nature, self-preservation, protect yourself. That's why even you, your wife, your children, when all of you in the kino, when the kino caps are, you fight for yourself first. You make sure you come to safety, then start saving other people. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Now, so Israel, they are afraid of what they've been doing in the region, especially to Iran, and that's why they always want to be. They want to set the pace. They want to determine what Iran does, which is not possible in my mind. They are sovereign countries, for God's sake. But you can roll the next video, and then we can take it from there.
So the next one is quite interesting. There is Fox News, and Fox News carry it telling all that what happened. But in this video that I'm going to play, Tehran, Moscow, and Beijing, they had a joint security drill in the same area. But let me roll this for then we'll talk about it. This is just about 3 minutes. This is from Fox News. It's their own propaganda news we're going to use on this today. And then what Fox News say. Let me roll this.
Hey, Bill, good morning. The Middle East is bracing for the possibility that war erupts in the days ahead. Reports indicate President Trump has discussed a possible timeline for strikes against Iran, but has not yet made a final decision. More U.S. military equipment is on the move, and the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is now arriving in the Mediterranean Sea. Today, the Iranian Navy conducted joint drills with the Russian Navy in the Sea of Oman, as a top Iranian admiral said this.
The naval forces of the Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran routinely conduct various exercises around the world within the framework of defense diplomacy programs. Joint exercises with Russia are also part of our regular planning, both in the Caspian Sea and in southern waters, and are carried out annually within the framework of defense.
With the region on the brink of direct conflict, European countries have started to warn their citizens in Iran to exit the country as soon as possible.
Please leave immediately. Everyone's still in Iran, and under no circumstances should you travel to that country. I don't want to scare anyone with any possible developments, but we all know what I'm talking about. The possibility of a heated conflict is very, very real.
U.S. officials confirmed that Iran plans to issue a written response following the nuclear negotiations in Switzerland earlier this week. While diplomatic efforts play out behind the scenes, a State Department official told Fox News Secretary of State Marco Rubio plans to travel to Israel at the end of the month to discuss the ongoing negotiations.
The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world. Diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration.
You heard the president this hour. He says Iran must make a deal or bad things will happen. Bill?
Trey, you covered the war last year between Israel and Iran. I think we all remember watching your crazy live shots of those Iranian ballistic missiles raining in on Tel Aviv, pretty much where you're standing right now. This time around, what indications will you be looking for to see if things are about to start up again?
Well, we already have the first major indication, and that's that you have 2 U.S. aircraft carriers either on station or on the way to the region. You've also have U.S. destroyers and a variety of American fighter jets and refuelers across the region. Here in Israel, the first indication will be a notification from the Israeli Home Front Command warning civilians to head to bomb shelters, understanding that if the United States decides to strike Iran, the Iranian regime will likely respond with a volley of ballistic missiles toward this country and also try to target American bases across the Middle East. Bill?
And we know you will be there standing.
Linfo. Now, you see what we're heading?
You know, the situation in the Middle East, it has something to do with the mind of the person who is the president of the United States. Now, I got two videos here that I will play, I will roll later on, but let's discuss what we just heard. EU nations warning their citizens to leave. This is how escalated the situation in the Middle East has become. Because the moment nations begin, and you listen to that man, he said, I don't want to scare anybody, but I know what I'm talking. And Trump, according to the journalist, Trump has already decided a timeline to strike Iran, but the date and thing had not been finalized. So this is something that is planned, and it's planned with the mind that it's going to be an all-out war. So it's going to be very dangerous, especially those of us living around the region in Europe here. So I was hearing some Mickey Mouse nation talking about the one who to go fight Russia and this and that. They better be getting ready. Because it's going to be an all-out war. No, this is not scary thing. This is not something to scare people with. It's the reality. If anything sparks up right now in the Middle East, it's going to spread. You know, they had this European fighting each other, then they call it World War. But this is the main World War that is going to start now, if anything happens. Because nations that have been taking advantage of will want to come to react, to retaliate in some way, some form. If they can do direct attack, they will go help other nations who they feel fall in their same category. You understand what I mean? Iraq was totally damaged by the United States and its allies. And the Iraqi can say, look, this is the time for us to also get even. You got Venezuela. You got Mexico that is being threatened every minute. Then you got Cuba, Russia that is number one enemy for them. So all these things, all the conglomeration of enemies, can you imagine what will happen? So it's beyond imagination. And I can only hope that, you know, the situation will go down. But with the kind of mentality, with the kind of leadership we have. Now, if you allow me, I can play one video. And then when I play that video, then we can also talk, or I'll play two videos. But this one, and let me see first whether let me see.
So why are you lining that up? You said something that is quite touching regarding that video we just played. Iran is not afraid. Now, they had a joint military exercise in the same strip that these guys preparing themselves. And who they train with? The Russians and the Chinese. They have, military drill as you speak that, okay, we're preparing you for a battle. So this guy's not afraid. They're waiting to go down. And while you lining up your stuff, go on.
Okay. Yeah, you can actually complete and you can complete your statement.
Yeah, so Lana, because what happened here, after you play this, there's another American former Marine says something. If the war happened, America will pay the price. And that is fear for his people. So, but roll your video for it, then we'll move on.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. And just before I roll a video, let me make a disclaimer. This guy in a red t-shirt is a comedian. He's a famous black comedian in America. It's called Godfrey the comedian. And he made fun out of everything. Even if people eating fast, he can make fun out of it. So a background to this thing is sorry guys, let me get more something. Okay, a background to this video is that there is a guy who is in a health area. He got a doctorate degree. He's been working over 14 years in this area, and he can study people's mind, the way people can do things, study people's brain. And this guy has been conducting some studies on President Donald Trump, and they got feel that there is something that is not correct with Donald Trump, the way he behaves. So he noticed something about it. And so Godfrey, the comedian, just took this part. And so you're going to see the writing, and he will say some words, even though he will say the F word, but you're not hearing it. They will silence him. But I just want to give that disclaimer that this is not our video, but it has to do with how you think. And following that, I'll play another video about, they are all short videos. about the former American President Ronald Reagan, what he said about the presidency of America. So we'll go with this first video. We'll go through the communion. So it's not our work.
Guy who's a physical therapist that's been monitoring Donald Trump's behavior.
I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 14 years experience working in home health care, treating geriatric patients with dementia.
The guy he has a doctorate in this. He's been doing it for 14 years, and he's noticing the decline of his lobes.
His frontal lobe is shrinking. It can no longer stop his limbic system, his emotional impulse center.
Okay, as you know, you have your lobes, right? In science, you have your frontal lobe, right? Your temporal lobe, parietal, occipital lobes. You got those lobes that, you know, they all have their jobs. You know, they have, this is the right side is your spatial, left side is your analytical, your speech side is on this side. That's why a lot of boxers after boxing match, they be like, I hope that I can fight again, because this has been beat up, you know. Anyway, so he is talking about President Trump's frontal lobe sort of kind of, yeah, it's like disintegrating a little bit, because it's the part that controls your like emotional, your decision making. And this month, literally in the middle of a meeting with billionaires, just got up and went to the window and said, wow, what a view. This is the door to the ballroom. Wow, look at that, look at that. They're building the ballroom. It's beautiful. Look at that. And everyone's like, where the f is he going? He just wandered the f off. Just wandered off. And Rubio, that simp, he wrote something that was supposed to be confidential and not read out loud. And Trump goes,
go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron. Thank you, Marco.
Go to Chevron. Leave Chevron. There's something about Chevron. And Rubio's like, motherfucker, I didn't tell you to read this shit out loud. God. You guys, he's like, thanks, Rubio. Thanks, you. I appreciate that. We got to let people know what you're writing. Come on. That's pretty rude. That's pretty rude. So, yeah, so the decline of his mental capabilities is happening. And this guy, you got to watch him. He's keeping tabs on his behavior. He's keeping tabs on his behavior because he's a physical therapist with like senior citizens and shit like that. So I think that this deterioration of Trump I think that's what we're counting on, because just like his brain, our society it's going backwards, man. It's going backwards. You guys let me know.
So I guess you understood what they're trying to say, that this guy is not thinking correctly. Here is a guy sitting down with billionaires, good meeting, discussing figures, man, that will affect the economy and the life of the people. And the man, jump out, jump out, tell back to the people, he goes to the window, he start looking at construction and say, oh, the poor building. And the billionaire were like, but what's going on? Everybody confused. And this is the president, right? You can't yell at him. And in that same meeting, Marco Rubio scratched down a little note for him, just to guide him, something that you're not supposed to tell. When you read it loud, and if you watch the video itself, because on the screen it looks small, but if you kind of add that Marco Rubio gave him, that's how he tapped Marco on the shoulder. You see, so this guy is not thinking. And the reason I've selected a particular clip is to show that this is a guy who get the code to a nuclear facility of America. This is the man who get the code. This guy could wake up one morning or wait midnight without even consulting the other branches of government, without consulting the Pentagon, and they got go and put in a code, and something happened. So you see him moving all the heavy equipment to the Middle East. This is a dangerous sign of somebody who is not balanced. It's not me saying it's a video, and this is a specialist that I've been telling people that said that this guy is getting low. But Paul, let me play the other video, and this one is this other one is just a warning, or a warning from former President Ronald Reagan, and he talked about the presidency of America not being your job. It's not, you are not a president. You are just the people you are employing. In other words, the people employ you. So let me see if I can get this video. You'll get part of me. It's very short. One part again. Okay, I got it. Now let me see. Okay. So Okay, let me go. Here we go. The man you see on the screen is former American President Ronald Reagan, and listen to what he said about the presidency of America.
You don't become president of the United States. You are given temporary custody of an institution called the presidency, which belongs to our people. Having temporary custody of this office has been for me a sacred trust and an honor beyond words or measure.
Now, Paul, there's a reason why I play this one. The reason is this is a man who feels that he got it, or I'm talking about Trump now, who feels that he got the absolute power being president of the United States. Because when he signed the document, you say, the president of the United States. So this former president is saying that you are not the president of the United States. It's just a temporary position that belongs to the people that they entrust you with. So he can't just start taking decisions. Imagine that the Congress is saying that when he took all the heavy weapons, the ship and everything to the Middle East, the Congress did not even approve of it. When he went to arrest Maduro, Congress did not approve of it. So that the first video we watched about a mental state of being is very concerning. If you allow it with all these things that you have been doing, now you can proceed.
But in one interview, there was a journalist that asked him who advises him, and he said no, he advised himself. So if somebody who can advise themselves, definitely they might be having some mental problem, and people may, because this is the guy that want to win the Nobel Peace Prize by all means because Barack Obama won it. So in his mind, he would be the one to get it. Why should other people get it? So that alone is a problem on its own. You see? Now, the thing is, you have to blame Americans here. They experienced the guy first term. He was very rude to people, and he created a thing with the journalists they call the fake news. They saw that, and this guy was very arrogant. They decided to bring him back. So bringing him back now, they're getting to know him more because there's more to come from this guy. And that guy could lead America into a massive destruction. You see, would it be this guy that will break that empire down? That is the question that they're not looking at. But some people see it like, because you see, the one I used today on this show, I said, common sense. Most of the world leaders today, most of them, they don't have common sense. That is the truth of the matter. Most people don't have common sense. So in America, you find that these so-called groups that support Trump, everything in the eyes of Trump is right. But Trump will do something crazy that they will say that one day and regret it. Oh, because what? The common sense have not kicked in yet. You have a system that they call check and balance. But this guy, he just breaking the rule. And today, what happened in America, the Supreme Court came out to say he tariff that he been put in other country, he violated the law. So he's angry. So you see the guy, so when the men talk about his mental state, it just tells that something is not wrong. Something is fundamentally wrong with this guy that the world is dealing with. That one morning you wake up and do something very funny.
The guy will go put out coat in one morning. You see everybody wake up, everybody die.
This is the guy that got the European now to say, no, we have to build our own defense force because he has shown the Europeans something. And mind you, Europe is powerful, but it's not in that collectiveness. They all have their own individual, but they decide now to put their power together. That will diminish America's power. They're not looking at that way. Then you get Russia and China on the other side. So when you're talking that every nation now will be talking about being a nuclear power. You see, before, America used to be behind this country called North Korea. Every now and then, the rocket man. But since the rocket man had a big weapon, when last you ever heard a rocket man name in the news? So this is where we're heading. But there's something interesting. And it's good you play that video. I think it's the Prime Minister of Italy. They had a mini or security conference. she said something that most people not following. And the way she said it, it was quite unique. And I want to roll the thing here. It's very funny that what she said. I hope I get this.
Before you roll the video, we gotta call on the line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's go to the caller. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Francis Menza, called from Stockholm, Sweden. You raised an important point that the America and its partners are not really taking into consideration. When America advances, bring all its big guns, start going in one single area. That's disastrous. Because those warships that are bringing all the Abraham Lincoln, whatever you call them,
yeah,
they can be destroyed at once. And what become of the American Army, the Navy, all the superpower, those are the most powerful warships to bring. And it doesn't make no sense militarily to bring them, attack one country and position them all in one cycle.
And those things are not something that can maneuver very quick. Not an airplane to say when you bomb, you run away. Ship will take a long time to turn around.
Yeah, why if North Korea get mad and bomb those ships, or maybe even Iran can target all those ships there and they will sink. And what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. I think his commanders they need to advise him. That America is overstating its political, its military powers. You think? I mean, no. So I think you raised a good point. I just wanted to interject there.
Okay, thank you so much, and I hope to see you on the program next week.
Okay, that's a good point, Linford. And one of those ships, they have over 25,000 men and women on board. So the country is dealing with, they already they learned the technology about hypersonic weapon that even the Iron Dome could not stop in Israel. If these guys go for one of those ships, they will sink 25,000 Americans. Think on it, not small number. 25,000 on one of those ships.
Paul. Francis, you have to go from Mama because that was the next thing I was supposed to talk about. I think I mentioned it briefly on Tuesday. That's a very wrong military move. No, if you're using jet bomber, that's simple thing because the jet bomber will go and bomb and retreat. But ship, there is something in shipping. There's something called your turning around time, like revolution. For that ship to turn around, it's not a car where you reinforce it to know. You gotta go turn around. And those things we're talking about, that huge ship, that small thing there, you can maneuver in that small boat, you can maneuver it easily. So you think if you amass all in one place, the Francis just said, you put all your eggs in one basket, instead of crush all. The clever bird family that I've seen, the guinea fowl. You can't lay in one place. You put on here, put on there, put on there. Yeah, you see the danger. They swallow the one, some will still be there. So you go take all your eggs, you put it in one basket. And trust me, Iran has to pay. Because in fact, I read somewhere on the internet where Iran, they are threatening that they will sink one of those ships. They will sink the ship. Because that's what they'll be focusing on. And they have the capability. There is no air defense force. Why if they attack you from the air to sink that ship and you think you can defend yourself in the air, they under the water too. Look, I get some powerful torpedoes. Huh? I mean, it's not people not promoting war, but you got to study all these situations. And I don't know, maybe the US has some strategy that we don't know, and we are just looking at it from the surface, but I don't think it makes sense.
But Linford, you see, if you pepper somebody before, the person capable of peppering you, what happened in the Ukraine? America, Britain, Germany, they all supporting the Ukrainian to kill the Russian. Don't you think this is a perfect time too that the Russian will give something to Iran that nobody know, that they could really cause mayhem to the Americans?
You see, like I'm saying, again, we here, we are just ordinary commentators, right? And we are not military guys. We don't know anything about military strategy, but we can see, we can look at all the examples. Now, trust me, Paul, what sense it makes? You go for your enemy living way on the other side, then you collect your whole family. You say you can't go fight it, I'll go fight the military hall. And the men not children in there too. When you start fighting, what? Because you fighting the man in your home, the man get knife, you get all kind of things in your home, but you probably get to your people to go fight, you take all your own. So suppose the man get more reserve than you. When
you don't know.
So yeah, maybe we don't know. But like I said, maybe there is something that the US is looking at, the most powerful military in the world is looking at.
So there are a few factors involved here, Linford. Usually, when America is building up an army like that to go fight, they always have a partner. Always. The number one partner is Great Britain. This time around, British people said, no. Why is that? So let me roll this thing here. And then there's two small videos. Let me roll this. I think
the difference, when, for example, Russia goes to war, they go alone because they don't have allies. When America goes to wars, then a lot of us go with you, and we lose our people on the way. So that means that you also need us in your to be this superpower. Because if you look at the bigger picture, I mean, in terms of economic might, I mean, China is a very, very powerful country. I'd say that it's true that those who have the power have had different rules. But even in jungle, animals cooperate, and so you are better off when you work with others.
You see what happening here? Now, this is the problem that the American face with today. And listen to the one here, then we can put this thing to bed in a quiet way. The British government that usually jump on the bandwagon that they're going to stand with their brothers from America to go and cause mayhem. Guess what they told the America? We are not using our bases for you to attack Iran. This is the foreign minister of Great Britain was asked this question, but she tried to avoid it. Listen to this.
There are reports that the UK has told the US it cannot use RAF bases for any strikes on Iran. Is that true?
The UK and the US have a long, deep security partnership. We work immensely closely. And on the issue of Iran, that is why we're supporting the US talks taking place with Iran, because frankly, the Iranian regime has continued to pose a security threat, has continued to pursue nuclear weapons, and that is why we've supported sanctions and also to increase diplomatic and economic pressure on the regime. That's what we believe is the right thing to do.
You see how she cleverly dodged your question?
So they told America, no, we're not going to use our bases to attack. The UK not stupid. They got intelligence. They know what will happen. When they went to Iraq, over 400 British soldiers came in body bags. They know what they got from there. And these guys are more sophisticated than the place they went. So they're not going that long. So America now is only depending on Israel. Their European partners decided to say, no, our hand not in the one. We're not going to try it. So America have to attack, because if they don't attack Iran, it shows strength or weakness. They will have to attack. You get it? You see why I'm driving up? Because if they don't, now it will be like, oh, this little boy who don't have anything, we negotiated with him. He said no. If we don't attack, it shows that weakness in America. So they have to go alone. So, Lincoln, I beg you, before you say, there's another American Marine that says something. Then you can blend all in so we can close the show. Listen to this guy here.
I can pretty much guarantee at the end of this conflict, everybody will say this was a war that should have been avoided, which is why it must be avoided. But in order to avoid it, we got to be honest. We can't hide behind pride. Americans can't hide behind the pride that's saying we're America, we're invincible, we'll be able to protect our power without question. We're going to suffer losses. There's no doubt about that. We're going to suffer losses, and we're not going to achieve the outcome we want. And it makes us look weak. Iran is going to be devastated as a society. And as a nation, it's going to lead to, horrible consequences economically global at a time when the global economy is already in a transition and teetering to knock down one of the critical pillars of energy security. Some people will say the critical pillar of energy security. In Europe, Europe will just be flushed down the toilet of life once again as they make themselves irrelevant. Where is the voice of Europe in trying to stop this war? Instead, they're whispering their support for it. Where is the IAEA in this? Because this isn't just about Iran and regional. This is about the future of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. If the United States carries out this strike against Iran, it means the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty is meaningless. This is what Aragji said to the Conference of Disarmament yesterday before he had his negotiation, that it's essential that Iran be allowed to do what the treaty permits it to do. And it's essential that the United States live up to its obligations, not just to get rid of their own nuclear weapons, but not to threaten a nation. So basically, an attack against Iran is going to be upsetting the entire world order. It's going to have ramifications that go beyond simply Iran in the region. It'll be global ramifications, which is why this war needs to be stopped.
It is scary.
You see?
It is scary. Now, you heard what the guy said. The IAEA, that's the International Atomic Energy Agency. I think so far, all of the countries that have been, I think maybe Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken, or India, one of those countries, plus Iran, those are the only two countries that the IAEA have been at their nuclear facility many times to investigate. But they have not been to Israel, that is nuclear armed. They have not been to America, that is nuclear armed. They have not been to Russia. And I think Iran has been doing its best to cooperate. Sometimes it becomes very difficult to discuss this because people will think that you are siding with Iran, but not so. But if you see the glaring facts and you try to downplay it, Iran has allowed the IAEA or leadership to go in, their technicians, their engineers, or whoever to go in to inspect their facilities. Iran is not posing any serious threat to any country. But when you see yourself as being the enemy, when people target you all the time, so you too, you got to get prepared. They say in time of peace, you prepare for war. And what this guy said, this Marine said, he made a sense. They're not going to achieve they're not going to achieve the desired outcome for any war in Iran. No. Say you kill the Ayatollah, God forbid, or whatever. You kill the Ayatollah that you want to get rid of. Okay? There are still the Iranians who feel that you should not take over their country. They will still fight back.
Yeah.
We have seen this thing over and over. The Al-Qaeda or the Bin Laden or all the group, you went after them. You succeeded, but still you got splinter groups. They're in Nigeria and all the places. So I think peace. Then what is the work of the UN? And you heard what the guy said. They should give the IAEA a chance to do that work. You, America, you should also abandon your own. Do not be threatening the other people. So when you threaten other people, and coming back to the war itself or the threat of war itself, Paul, let me tell you, if anything sparks off now, like I was saying, it will be more dangerous. This will be the time that people will want to get even. Countries will want to get even with countries with people that have suppressed them, with people that have destroyed them. Iran could say, no, listen, Iraq could say our infrastructure militarily and all this thing is damaged. But one thing we can do, we still get manpower, we still get military. We send our military to go to Iran to help them. In that very Gulf there, or in that very Middle East, you got Israel. Israel against Palestine. You got Israel against or Lebanon. You got Israel against all the other countries. They can say, well, Yeah, Yemen. So they can say, okay, we're going to fight Israel. Same way America, let America and Iran be twin, but we attack Israel from the other side. And how powerful is Israel? Okay, toward the war, America got to come in for them. So if all the other countries that they have been suppressing before, if they all send forces, Turkey right there, okay, then the big guys, then Russia, then we're not talking about then France, then I mean not France or China, they may not directly partake, but do supply. I was just reading something just now that Russia is allegedly, I don't know whether it's true, sending some warheads to South Africa. And so South Africa can continue to press for the International Court of Justice or something like that, So you see, it's a fragile situation. So countries may want to get even with America. I will not say with other countries, with America, because this is a country that goes around, dethroning other leaders or destroying other countries. So they'll say, well, this is an all-out war. We all can fight the people who able. You may not able America, but you able one country that's supporting America, so that country will go for it. Why America turning around and say, well, Israel, you also should start a war. Where are you guys? Why Israel will be busy fighting Lebanon or Yemen or Syria? And then North Korea can say, well, this is my time. Let me see what the thing I get, whether I can work for true. So the people can know that. And they say, let me tell you, it's dangerous, and America will suffer the consequences because the guys, the Russian, the Iranian, they are already targeting what they will do. They want to make sure that those ships do not go by with all the men on board with all the sophistication. And they carry about 3 or 4 ships. If they sink 1 or 2, it's a big loss. There is no victor in war. Nobody can fight war and move on and say, yeah, we won.
But Linford, and I said it here that, and you just mentioned, China is not talking. They don't talk. They will support. They will not send nobody. Russia, what he did to all with Ukraine is payback time. What they gave Iran, you don't know. What made Iran so bolding that we not have to know that it will not compromise on our thing?
Yes, sir.
We're not compromising nothing. What emboldened them? That the world greater power, and it tells you, no, try us. That's something the Iranian got that America is trying to overlook, or America just want to bluff, say, oh, that what they did with Venezuela, say all of these weapons then went in, started begging the people, say the security, let's just take the president, let America look good. No, it's not Iran. This is a total different group of people that believe in their nation proud. They came up with a propaganda some month, it was the last month, that the Iranian killed 6,000 of the protesters. 6,000, not small, 6,000. One family may have 10, and you get 6,000 based on protest. You think they will still be protesting today? So all of these things, they started building this up for just to go attack these people. But what made Iran so brave? Said, no, we're waiting. We agreed to negotiate whatever, but we cannot give all our weapons. No question on that. So if you want to come attack, we have military exercise with the Russian on the sea to tell you that we prepare for you. Come. That's something the Americans are picking up here. And to my brothers and sisters in the U.S. Army, like where Donald Trump, when they called him to go to Vietnam, he ran away. They must start thinking now not to go in the Gulf War because it will be disaster. Why is it Europe that always go America decided no, they're not sending no one? That's something they know.
My brother, yes. the thing they know, everybody can see it. Yeah, everybody looking at it, but who will call the name? They say, not how the second assassinate, but who will hold the head? If you can hold the head, then the other people second assassinate. So what?
So wait a minute, Linford. So the question here, Euro is already mad with Trump regarding Greenland. Or they said, let this guy go alone. Yeah, he suffered a defeat. Then we all sit down and drink champagne. That's another thing. But there's another aspect. Where is the useless UN?
Forget that thing.
You see what I'm leading? Where is the useless United Nations? Based on the useless UN, Trump now form a new group called the World Peace something he gave it. And they peace something going to take over from United Nations. Could you imagine? You are talking about this crisis guy just now. The men are for new organization. So I want to end this program on the new UN that Trump has founded 2 days ago. It does so because United Nations is so useless. Trump now found the new UN. Listen to this, then we'll close the show.
It's diplomacy, but not as we know it. This is Donald Trump's Board of Peace. In a building now bearing his name, they posed with the president.
Does everybody like the music?
Yeah, it's a perfect song.
That's good music.
It's an eclectic panel of men, mostly the world's strong men. Canada's invitation was revoked. The UK, France and Germany politely declined.
Almost everybody's accepted, and the ones that haven't will be. Some are playing a little cute. It doesn't work. You can't play cute with me.
Some weren't sure about the freebies. Others were delighted to find themselves seated at this table.
Virtually everyone is the head of a country other than Johnny, but he's the head of soccer, so that's not so bad, right, Johnny?
This body is part of the US peace plan for Gaza, set up to oversee reconstruction.
The war in Gaza is over. It's over. There are little flames.
But the Board of Peace met amid talk of war. Intense speculation that a US strike on Iran could be imminent.
Iran is a hot spot right now. So now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
Some fear this Trump-led board will undermine the United Nations.
The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations, making sure it runs properly.
But former Prime Minister Tony Blair is participating in a personal capacity.
For decades, Gaza's governance has been characterized by extremism, corruption, ineffective institutions, and the complete absence of a route to prosperity for the Gazan people. Yet, as President Trump recognized, its potential has always been vast.
The meeting culminated with FIFA pledging to help raise $75 billion for football pitches in Gaza.
There is one language that still unites hearts: football.
The whole thing lasted 3 hours. Dozens invited to speak.
Qatar pledges $1 billion.
The UAE announces a further $1.2 billion.
Our commitment to contribute significant number of troops.
Egypt will continue its effort to train Palestinian police.
But President Trump had better get used to it. He has appointed himself chairman for life.
Thank you. We'll take it with us. Thank you, everybody.
The guy not sound. That's all I can say. The man is not sound. There is something serious wrong with this guy.
Oh, Lefa. We get new UN.
There is something very bad wrong with this guy. I'm sorry to say it. I'm just one ordinary guy, one ordinary citizen talking, one ordinary, insignificant, person talking. But when I look at this guy, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know anything about mental health. But when I look at this guy, it's like, how can you call a group of people? Number one, you detected everything that they will do. Then you turn around, you appoint yourself the head for life. Can you imagine? And do all of Tony Blair, because Tony Blair broke now, saying your prime minister, I don't know what he get job, he broke, he looked for a way to get recognized. He said that they're from Gaza. And no, listen, we have heard this story a long time, how the people in Gaza, they are there, the people. America has got no reason to go and fight in Iran. They just look for a way. But again, like we always say on this program, when the empire rises, one day it will fall, because whatever goes on will come down. So maybe this is the way America will fall, sadly, and I know it will affect a lot of people, the world as a whole, but what goes on must come down. I will end right there.
Yeah, and that's the end of the show today, man. So, bro, we had a very good discussion today. So let's just close up, and we hear again what on I might be on a program on Sunday. I think Jamal might join me, but then on the 1st of March, the audience with the Lord Church start, and then I'll be having my first guest on the 1st of March, and the flyers will be all soon. Yeah,
Okay.
so we had a very good show, and I just want to close on the note regarding Liberia. I think our leaders need to have common sense now to start making our citizens homeless. It's not good for the country. Look after a citizen, development will happen. I met the former, I think she's still Minister of Education in Rwanda. And she said something to us, met at some conference in London here. And the question was, how did Rwanda manage to reach up there? She said, what we did when we came to office, we decided to put the people first. Say when the nation is educated and healthy, the nation builds itself. You see what she said? When the people are educated and they are healthy, the nation builds itself. So they put their people first. Until in Liberia, if they start putting the citizen first, the nation will build itself. But you cannot make the people homeless. They tend to drug addict, and then you expect that nation to build itself. So the demolition that is happening in Liberia, nobody against it, but do the sensible thing, the smartest thing. Find somewhere, land or 4-story building, don't have 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, yet the citizen live there, and it's not free. If you unemployed, you must find at least $5 every month to pay rent to the government. That's money generation. It's generating revenue. And the tax collector for the rent, that employment. The cleaners that will go in there to clean up that 4-story building, that employment. Why we cannot think sensibly in Liberia? So I want to close on a note. I think our government need to apply common sense than being harsh on their citizens. So when it comes to Tehran and Washington, I think America will attack to show face because they cannot carry all their sophistication over there and don't do anything. But if you try it, there'll be a lot of body bags taken back to America. Although you get rid of, you destroy Iran, but you suffer it as well. So I want to say on that note, it was a great show, bro.
And when you go to Iran, maybe to change regime or to do whatever, you said the Iranian authority killed 6,000 of their people. You're going to bomb the city. You're going to bomb the country. Who are you going to be killing? The same citizens that you're fighting for, the same people you're going to be killing. Because when war fight, a human being dies. But I think and we will be. I want to say thank you to those of you who join us during the program and those of you who are always with us. We want to say thank you. You can join us next Tuesday. We'll be here with a fresh edition of the program. Until then, Miss Linford and Portugal was in the UK.